Mark, thanks for joining us today. I just wanted to start with maybe you telling us a little bit about the Freightways business and some of your key segments.
Yeah, absolutely. So Freightways, 2/3 of Freightways is built around express package business. So that includes our courier brands like New Zealand Couriers and Post Haste, as well as the new acquisition we've made, Big Chill, which is in the express temperature control business. The other third is split relatively evenly between secure destruction and medical waste, business mail and traditional information management.
And in terms of COVID, obviously it's hit a lot of businesses throughout this year. What was the impact specifically on your business?
Yeah, the initial impact on us was pretty severe, so it cut the volume out of the bulk of our operations, both in New Zealand and Australia. So level 4 lockdown in New Zealand meant you lost 65% of your volume overnight. As you came into level 3, online shopping opened up and we got this new bow wave of volume coming through. So B2B recovered quickly, but this business to consumer segment really took off. So from level 3 and level 2, we've had increases in volumes, new customers to market, customers with different channels, and it's been a really good sign for the business.
And I want to touch on that online shopping that you mentioned. You know, what's been the big structural shift in that for your business, and do you see that ongoing, or is this going to be a sugar hit, and as COVID passes you think things will normalise again?
Yeah, look, I do think it's a structural shift. So I certainly think you had a peak and it's come a little off that peak. But we have had a structural shift in the amount of B2C we have in our business. So that has increased. It's gone up about 5 percentage points. And that's pretty significant. I think the good thing for us is that we've managed to carve out a bit of margin in B2C. So the initiatives we've had in the last 18 months of charging a little bit more for residential delivery have returned margin into B2C and actually given better courier pay out to the contractors as well. But yeah, I think it'll stick around.
And I guess the other big trend has been the working from home trend. So what's that done to your information management business? And also, can you touch on, I know you now own a medical waste business as well. How did that fare through the COVID period?
Yeah, so I think a really good example is Victoria, where they've had the longest lockdown in the world, just about. So you had document destruction volumes come off by about 20 to 25% through that period. But we had our medical waste business sort of double and then triple through that period. So we were able to shift resources, shift assets from document destruction to medical waste, the same bins, the same trucks, same drivers, and that compensated for the loss of document destruction. We've seen document destruction bounce back really quickly as people have come back into businesses, even though they're not fully occupied at the moment. In terms of pure information management, it'll be a bit of a drag on archives, so you won't produce as many archives with more people working from home. And the decision to shift your off-site provider from one to another is kind of at the bottom of the priority list for a lot of businesses. So it'll be slower for us to pick up that traction that we had in Aussie. We were growing at 10% for records. That'll slow down for a period while people are working at home, and it's not the biggest decision for businesses to make.
And at the beginning you mentioned Big Chill. I just wanted you to get your sort of views on what's the strategic rationale and how does it fit into the wider group?
Big Chill gives us a second horizon of growth, and there's some neat intersections between Big Chill and what we're doing with our courier businesses. And actually that became really apparent in lockdown, where you had a lot of businesses that had pivoted and said, hey, we're going to send food to people. We used to have a non-essentials product category. We've got a database though, we're going to package up food and get it to people. And what they were talking to us about was solutions where we could use a Big Chill network to keep that food in a chilled, temperature controlled supply chain, and then get it out for last mile distribution. And the last mile might have used New Zealand Couriers then to deliver it to the door. So I think we will see more of that. But the Big Chill business is entirely complementary to what we do. It's express, it's hub and spoke networks, fixed line hauls, it's all of the things we do in our courier business. It's just cold.
And it sounds like there's plenty of growth on the horizon. You know, how does your network cope with that into the future? You know, are you reaching capacity, or have you got plenty of runway before you need to go out and spend on a bit more capacity in the future?
Yeah, in Express Courier we scale up really easily and very variably. So as we need more pickup and delivery resource, contractors provide that until they get maxed out, and then you can start to add a few more runs here and there. And that comes at a pretty variable kind of rate. Same thing with line haul capacity, as we need more line haul capacity. So last night we did 6 extra runs down to Hamilton. We were just double shifting trucks that work during the day to use them at night. So there's not a whole lot of extra cost associated with expansion. I think we've also used our facilities a lot better in the last couple of years, where a facility used to need to expand every time you added too many more couriers. What we're doing now with B2C deliveries is double shifting the floor space. So a business-to-business courier comes in at 6 in the morning, leaves at 7, but a B2C courier can come in and use his space at 7 in the morning and leave at 8. And what that means is you don't need to expand facilities at the same sort of rate we have done in the past. So we don't see any significant increases in fixed cost coming through our business as we cope with these extra volumes.
And just finally to wrap up, is there a piece of advice you wish you'd been given when you first started investing?
I think the best bit of advice I had was that actually good companies cost good money. There's a reason why companies are cheap, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bargain. And there's a reason why companies have a high share price or a high price to acquire, and generally it's because it's a good business. So I think that's actually a really enduring good bit of advice when you're looking at investments.
Very good. Thanks very much for your time today, Mark.
Yeah, you're welcome.